The Weeknd just did one of the biggest music deals ever by selling his catalog for $1 billion. But that's not exactly what happened. Let me explain. Unless you live under a rock, you more than likely seen the headline saying the Weeknd sold his catalog for $1 billion, which is honestly crazy, but that's not really what happened. See, a lot of artists actually sell their music catalog, with T-Pain being one of the most recent ones. Justin Bieber also recently sold his for $200 million. And they mainly do it when they need a little bit of money on the side, because if you guys didn't know, songs are assets. And in order to use some assets, you gotta liquidate them, aka sell them. In the case of the Weeknd, I must say that this is a completely different situation. And also that this guy right here, his manager, is a genius. So here's a quick breakdown of this $1 billion deal. Lyric Capital Group wants to invest in the Weeknd. Now, in order to invest in the Weeknd, they got to put in some money for a percentage of his equity, or equity percentage. Now, if you don't know what equity is, I'm sorry, because I am not a finance page, I am a music page, but equity is pretty much what you own and how much of it you own. Now, the Weeknd and his manager own 75% of the Weeknd songs, and that is through their label XO. Now, you may be asking, where did the other 25% go? Don't even worry about that. That all goes to something called publishing and UMG. But nonetheless, the Weeknd still owned and maintained majority of his music. So far we know that Lyric Capital Group wants to invest in the Weeknd songs. The Weeknd owns about 75%. That is what Lyric Capital Group is interested in. So the only people that's receiving actual cash from this situation is the Weeknd and Soul. Now, off the bat, this deal is already different than a lot of artists, and that's because majority of artists don't own as much of their music as the Weeknd. But here's the real question. How is it $1 billion? Why the Weeknd didn't actually get $1 billion? The Weeknd's catalog is a cash flowing asset, meaning it practically makes money on its own. Compared to something like food that only has value after it's been sold, because before it's sold, it's really worth nothing. Now, it's safe to say that the Weeknd's entire catalog has generated millions on millions of dollars since the release. And being that the Weeknd's net worth is about $600 million, it's safe to say that the catalog contributed to half of that. And as we all know, that's not $1 billion. Even Lyric Capital Group looking at him like, that's not no billion. That's when Saul comes in and tells Lyric, yo, though the catalog only made this much, I promise you it's capable of making $1 billion. Lyric is just like, what? He's like, yes, you didn't hear Drake? The man's the new Mike Jack. In case you guys didn't know, Michael Jackson's catalog is valued to be $1.2 billion. Yes, this deal technically brings the Weeknd a step closer to Mike, but Lyric said, I don't know about that, but I'm gonna give y'all 250 for 25%. Saul goes to the Weeknd like, ain't 250 million 25% of $1 billion? The Weeknd says, So not only did they give him 250 million, they also told him that he could do whatever he wants creatively with the 25% of equity that they own. So if he wants to make a season 2 of The Idol with all of his songs, they don't care. So technically nothing changed between the Weeknd's regimen. All his catalog has to do is keep on making money, and he decent. And how you really know this was a power play and not a cry for help is that a couple years ago, the Weeknd said he was gonna change his name from The Weeknd, which would then be the death of all the personas he's curated as The Weeknd. But of course, The Weeknd knew not to let all of this go to waste. So what he did was went on a tour for years, boosted up the value of everything, and then sold it. Or specifically, he sold a percentage of his ownership of the catalog and still maintained creative freedom. And mind you, artists usually have to sell their whole catalog or a big chunk. He only sold them 25%. As a fan of music, I find this to be genius. It's almost like a Frank Ocean play. And I also believe with this increase in capital, 250 million, we may be seeing a lot more from The Weeknd theatrically, concerts, music, everything. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, follow, and comment down below.